Welcome back to Bazooka Kickboxing and MMA home training. Today's workout, we're gonna focus on footwork. And with footwork, we really need to make sure our calves are nice and strong. If you're a beginner, footwork is about using those little steps, calculating how do you move, how do you step to attack, how do you evade punches. So footwork is a big general term, but we're gonna create a workout around that. So like the other workouts that we have here on the website, it's geared towards 3 different levels at Bazooka Kickboxing. We have beginners, intermediates, and advanced. The beginner is you're just starting martial arts. You're not sure too much of the techniques, or you know the techniques, but you're really wanting to improve the technique of it. An intermediate here on the channel will be someone who is just starting sparring. They're being introduced to blocking, different types of drills, so that's an intermediate. An advanced fighter would be, or an athlete, will be someone who competes or spars regularly and is a full-time martial artist who's been training for some time. But even those advanced fighters, it's important to go back and build your basics. So that's the importance of the channel. Also, advanced fighters, and we have a few here on my team who have really exhausted the curriculum on the one side, so they're actually going back and working their opposite stance through the whole system and curriculum here at Bazooka Kickboxing. Okay, so let's get into today's workout, which is footwork. So, like all of our workouts, we have to warm up the muscles that we're going to be using in the workout. So, to start, we're gonna start the timer now, and what we're gonna do is you're gonna listen to the bells and you're gonna follow me. So, we're gonna start, if you have a skipping rope at home, let's get the skipping rope and start skipping. If you do not have a skipping rope, we're gonna use lines on the floor, whether it's concrete if you're outside, or put your even skipping rope, anything. You just need to bounce forward and backwards over a line, okay? And those who have skipping ropes, we start skipping. So, a few things I'm looking for, okay? You see me skipping here. If you're the one skipping and this is easy, what you can do is you can add burnout high knees to make it a little bit more exhausting. Or take this time to just catch your breath, use your feeling, okay? And just get those calves and get all the blood into them. So those skipping, keep bouncing. Now, one of my biggest pet peeves, and I know I can't see you doing the workout at home, but I know a lot of you do it. When I speak, when I'm talking to you, giving you instructions, you need to keep the workout going, okay? Don't stop now. So even though I'm talking, I need you to keep skipping, okay? It's a way for me to at least give you the information and educate you while you are warming up, okay? I wanna make sure this 30-minute workout really gets you working for the whole entire time, and you're learning the entire time, right? Warm-up time is time for me to educate you on what's going to be happening throughout. Okay, so now, after a while, even if you don't, okay, we're working our pendulum bounce, you can change your stances, right? Even when you're doing skipping, you can have more of a neutral stance, which is a side-to-side bounce, right? Which is important, why? Because moving laterally, you have to be able to push off the sides of your calf. When you're more forward and backwards, you'll hit more of the meatier part of the calf, which is called your gastroc. So here, you move sideways. So keep playing around with the different stances. Even when I'm skipping, I skip in my 3 different stances. Okay, that's a little bit more advanced footwork, but keep it up, and then mixing in your high knees, right? Even without a rope, getting these high knees up is important, okay? Good. All right, now we're gonna mix in some circles, and we're gonna try to stretch out while we're doing it, okay? One of the simple stretches I like to do, and we'll do it in between here, is just opening up the hips and sitting in our squat, okay? Sitting here, making and pushing my knees out. The goal is to sit up with a nice high chest, knees out, and my heels onto the ground. If you need to adjust and shift your weight, that's okay too. And it might be to the point where you're really stiff, right? And you have big rounding here. So working on here, chest up, you know, sitting on the heels. If you need to hold on to something to make sure you're sitting, and it's all about the hips, okay? Sitting, because we're gonna need hips for kicks and movements in martial arts, okay? Deep breaths. Okay, now this next round, we're gonna do more single calf bounces, because a lot of times in martial arts, when you kick, you're on one calf, or when you step, you're pushing with one calf to launch you forward, okay? So single calf work is important. If you have your skipping rope, you're gonna skip and kind of bounce on one calf. If you don't, just let's keep our hands up here. Really important, because we're gonna work the shoulders. And I want this knee 90 degrees, okay? Perpendicular to the floor here. what's gonna happen? So with the 90 degrees there, what's gonna happen is it just trains your hips to be able to lift up for leg blocks so you have control of your legs. Okay, switch. So I'm just bouncing here, and we're alternating. Okay, if you're looking from the side, my heel never touches the ground, okay? If you're jumping and your heel falls down, it just shows your calves are weak. We need to stay on that. So when we kick, right, we have that ability to hold our weight on a single calf, okay? Let's keep going. Remember, those are skipping, keep bouncing and alternating. If it's hard, practice just as much as you can do if this is really new to you. So if you're a beginner, 1. It might even be 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Or more advanced, work your way up. Sometimes I'll count and do countdowns where I'll do 10 on this side, 10 on this side, switch to 20 on this side, 20 on this side, okay? So play within your level. Even if it's 1, 2, 3, switch. Maybe you mess up, go back here, 1, 2, 3, right? Even the most beginner level, 1 spin at a time. Jump, 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 okay? Focus on your level. Just remember, I want us to really train our hips as well to be able to keep that leg up, okay? Keeping that leg up, sometimes kick to block. I don't need to put that hip down. It'll just make you a better fighter, okay? Almost done our warm-up, let's get it going, okay? So alternating as much as best as you can. All right, keep it bouncing. Keep bouncing. Deep breaths. All right. Now, for the stretch, what we're gonna do is focus on heel to the ground. All right, nice here. So I'm really stretching out the calf on the back foot here. All right, keeping my feet pointed in the same direction. If you have something you can hold on to, it's even better. I can hold on to the wall and push so I can get my heel down. All right, I really wanna stretch that calf out the best I can. And if you are new to footwork and calf drills, the one thing you're gonna realize is your calves might get really sore. So take your time. If you start feeling heavy, take your little breaks, and that's okay. All right? Now, from your calves here, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna focus on stretching out our hamstrings and just let the body hang. Deep breaths in, and just hang and kind of push yourself down, seeing as low as you can go. One trick that I like to do is even if I hold, and I just walk my knees, pushing them backwards to help get it going. Okay, now last little bit of warm up before we get into our main bits of our drills. And we're just gonna work on moving a little bit more, okay? So what we're working on is I'm gonna be moving forward and then I'm gonna be coming backwards, all right? So you're using the gallop step to be able to push forward and to push backwards. Okay, so this is the basic one here, moving forward and backwards. Good? So once you get nice into this movement, we alternate, okay? So you go forward, backwards, okay? Now what you'll do is you'll start making a square, staying in your dominant side. So I'm bouncing back, and then I come forward. So now what you see with my footwork, okay, is I'm making a box with my feet. Okay, so now I'm doing box stepping without being able to travel around without my feet crossing. You see, when I'm doing the whole drill, right, I'm facing you. When I move this way, I'm not crossing my feet, right? My feet stay nice and wide as I gallop backwards. Okay, so when I come here, now I step with the lead foot. So I'm never crossing my feet, keeping good balance, and that's called box stepping, okay? Now to warm up, if you're more advanced, on every corner, you can throw a combination just to loosen up, okay? Punch to kick or anything this way. So you're still making that nice square, 30 more seconds, but you're now mixing your combinations in the meantime. Okay, boom, beautiful. Switch directions now. Yeah, now go the other way. Beautiful. If you want, mix in the combinations. Yeah. And then alternate directions, right? Keeping the nice solid footwork. All right, beautiful. So this is called our box stepping, feet never crossing, always in. So no matter where I am, I'm in a position to be able to throw, to be able to attack, always ready to go into counter. All right, so calves are warm. Now what we're gonna do is get into the footwork. And to do so, I like to have cones or some sort of, you can put your gloves, it can be absolutely anything. some sort of object that you can work around, all right? So the first one I like to do, and what you can do is you can have dumbbells with you as well. We might not be punching a lot, but it's good to have that extra weight. Even if you're a beginner, you might want to put on just your boxing gloves. Your 12, 14, 16-ounce gloves might be enough, okay? So usually the cone represents an opponent. So you want to be able to stay and manage the distance from your opponent, okay? So what we're going to work on right now is in and out movement. So stepping in, pushing off, and stepping back out. So you could even use a line for this. It doesn't really matter, but the reference is pushing forward and pushing backwards, and that's really important. So to get over the line, I push with my rear calf. To come back, I push back with my lead side. So my beginners, let's start working here, pushing him back, okay? And intermediates can even mix a jab if they want. Now, if you're more advanced, I want you to use the cone. We don't need to punch more, but you're moving in, and then you could circle a little bit, okay? So moving in. Now, even when you're advanced, you can use feinting and stepping. So when I'm outside, I could feint and then step in if you're more advanced. But otherwise, in and out. In and out. Now, keep moving. Remember, that's the trick. You gotta listen and keep going. Now, when I'm bouncing in and out, this is my education point for you. You could move or not move the back foot. So I'm gonna use this line here on the floor, right? Now to step over the line, I push off this rear calf. I brought my back foot up, usually when I wanna throw a rear hand, and then I back out. But if I wanna stay long, if I wanna practice more hit and move, I might keep that back foot there. So when I step in, boom, and then I step out. So there's a difference between this and that, right? So you just have to know for the intermediate advanced, what it's going to be, and the reason why is this. If I want to kick, I want to be more in a power style stance, right? If I'm sliding this way, now I need to kick, I have a short kicking stance, which isn't good, okay? Keep the footwork going, okay? Forward, backwards. But now if I want to kick, I might step long. Now I'm in a lengthened stance, boom, right? So the difference between 1-2 and 1 kick, right? That's the difference between kickboxing and boxing footwork and how to implement them, okay? So you should be getting in and out movements, okay? Even if you're using the line. Moving in, moving out. Good. In, out. Remember, you can bounce or step in and out, okay? Beautiful, that's in and out now, right? So what we're gonna do now is one of my favorites is you have to learn how to circle around your opponent. And this is where we use our triangle step. What you're gonna do, right now, I'm touching my opponent. I back up now I'm outside of range. I circle 1, 2, and then I step in and attack, come back out. Circle, come back in, come back out. So here, in, out. Circle, come back in, come back out. Let's start very slow if you're a beginner. Let's not even throw punches if you're a beginner. Step in, come back to the triangle point, 1, 2, step in, come out. Circle again, step in, step out. You can do a full circle one way, or if you're intermediate now, start playing around with directions. First time I step in this, I'll circle to the right. Right, then I'll go left. So I'm constantly confusing my opponent. All right, intermediates and advanced, you can mix in combinations with the footwork, okay? So I come in, throw a combination, exit and circle, all right? Beginners, don't be shy to just kind of start working that footwork without the combinations. All right, so just keeping your hands up, strengthening the shoulders. Step, attack. Remember, it's the step is telling you to attack, right? It's all in the footwork, so doesn't matter. 1, out, in, out, in, out. Circle around. Go one way all the way around. Okay, then when you get around, circle the other way. 2, 3. Create that nice base of the triangle. So this is good footwork if you're fighting a pressure fighter, where boom, 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 I hit my combinations, my opponent attacks, I back out, evade the shot, then they keep pressuring me again, and then I just circle, right? So it's like, think about the matador approach, right? So I'm playing the matador. Hit, 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 boom, 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 make them guess a direction. I go the other way. So it's a simple application, but you could apply it really well in fights if you just understand, okay? So in and out. Okay, beginners, if you're feeling good, let's add a 1-2. 1-2, step out, circle. Intermediates and advanced, remember, before I enter, maybe add a little feint. Come in and come out. Feint, come in, boom, attack. Change directions, boom, feint. Choose, boom, boom. Change up your combinations. Bang, angle changes. All right, so practice at your level. Keep practicing the triangle step, triangle step, triangle. First drill we did, in and out. Triangle step and box stepping, right? So you got important words to remember here. Box stepping, in and out, triangle stepping, okay? Very important ones. Now, what we're gonna work on here is a little bit more of a flow drill, okay? And we're gonna work on just relaxing with our footwork and flowing. And it's more of what I call line drilling. So instead of now circling, we're gonna work on closing distance, moving forward, and most likely forward, a little bit backwards as well. So we're gonna start jab, cross, moving with our feet. So when I jab, I step with my lead side. When I throw my cross, my back foot comes and turns up. 1, 2, turning my hip. I'm not doing this because my back foot's not pivoted now, I'm not engaging my hip. 1, lead side, 2. And this is how I close distance with my footwork, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay? We're gonna warm on that. And during this round, I'm going to be changing it up. So you need to pay special close attention to my words, okay? So just warm up, 1, 2, okay? Keep traveling the length of your floor, okay? Then from backwards, shuffle backwards for me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. Remember, turn this hip. I'm all looking for this rear hip. By keeping my rear foot pointing perpendicular opposite, no good. I have to turn when I throw my right hand. My feet have to be pointing the same direction. 1, back foot's pointing here. 2, this direction, right? Boom. So let's get that hip involved. Okay? Now, from here, this is more advanced principles, but I'm okay with us practicing the fluidity. So you're gonna gallop to switch. Okay? When I get to the end, gallop to switch, moving backwards. So this is called shifting when I go forward. Okay, I'm shifting. When I move backwards, it's called backstep attacking. Okay? So it's important to be able to use this tactic to close distance or use the back steps to evade, okay? So now I can mix in straight punches while I'm moving backwards as well, okay? Defensive versus offensive. Beautiful. Remember, beginners, just keep my feet switching. It's almost like walking. This is more advanced, but it's important to practice both, okay? So remember, you have closing the distance, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, or you have your shifting, okay? So both are able to close distance, but depending on your level, right? One closes distance faster, the other one more calculated. Calculated, fast pressure, right? Shifting is faster. Evade slower, move and evade faster, right? So by understanding that footwork is what's gonna help you determine kind of how fast, how slow, how calculated. It also depends how fast your opponent retreats, right? That also depends on things as well. Okay, so what I want you to do now is if you have cones or objects, you can make a little game here like I like to do with my cones. So I'll even have one cone in the center, and then I'll have cones on the outside where I make the point of a 5. And this is our last drill in our footwork workout today, okay? So you'll notice here, I have in and outs, and I have a circle. So what you gotta focus on, using your triangle step, right, to circle, and then you enter in with your combinations. So we're working on closing distance, 1, 2, 1 here. So I'm closing distance, evading with distance, getting to the point of my triangle where could I evade laterally, and then I step into attack, step out, circle around. All right, so you create your own little flow, all right, with footwork. So the beautiful thing about this is you're attacking and defending using footwork and distance control and management. Okay, this is our last round. Let's get working, okay? Circle and go. Come in, come out, and circle. Remember, if you want to get a good workout, grab those dumbbells, all right, and start working. Keep the weight of the shoulders up, keep things going, all right? Keep circling and attacking. Now, keep going, listening, keep listening. If I want to work my entering, so my advanced listeners, if you want to practice your enter footwork, I'll move these big circle cones out a little bit more. And especially when it comes to MMA, right, the small gloves, range and distance control tend to be longer. So by spreading these cones out, you'll notice one step isn't enough to get to my cone. So I might have to double or triple step to come in, which tends to be more realistic when it comes to fighting, right? Fighting is all about range and distance, but if you just sit here and take punches, it's not good. And a lot of fighters don't like that mentality, so they move. So if I pressure, most likely my opponent's gonna step. I step closer, they step back. So we play this distance management game. So if I sit here at one range, then all of a sudden I wanna confuse them, double, 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 boom. I close my distance, right? With all that proper footwork. But how did I close that distance? I closed it using that closing distance, right? So from here, I can do what I taught you, right? Box stepping my way in, or I can shift my way in if I'm more advanced. So how you enter could be in multiple different ways. Keep the circling lateral. You always want to make sure when you do attack, it's never on a straight line. So before I attack, I always like to circle and then move and enter on angles. The one thing I want you to remember, no matter what the combination or what the strike is, it has to have an enter and it has to have an exit. And this is what this footwork is teaching you. It's giving you a pattern, it's giving you a system to be able to hit and move and manage distance, okay? So that's the lesson, the technical lesson part of the workout. Now let's get into our muscle endurance and dumbbell training. All right, each one of these workouts are 30 seconds to a minute long. If you have trouble, you get fatigued, take a quick break and get back up and keep going. Now for our squats, make sure you're sitting down, spreading those knees, try to push off those heels and really loosen and open up those hips. Let's work on driving off our lead leg with the front lunge. By stepping forward, you really need to drive off that lead leg to come back to your stance. Think about offensive versus defensive stance. Really helps that driving back position. Working unilateral legs and lunges are very important. The rear lunge, really good at activating the glute and really working that driving forward power. Let's go, pick up your dumbbells. Now it's time for our shoulder and punch conditioning. The basic way you're gonna see us using our shoulder endurance with dumbbells is with our straight punches. Keep blasting them out and keep switching stances so you can get comfortable blasting out punches from all 3 different stances. Let's start with a nice medium-paced uppercut, and when it's time, make sure we blast out for our straight punches to really work those front shoulders.